This is a HeadGum podcast.
Celebrity Book Club. Who's that knocking at the door? It's all your friends, you filthy whore. Your husband's gone and we've got books and a bottle of wine to kill. It's Hollywood. It's books. It's gossip. I'm shook. It's memoirs. It's martinis. It's Studio 54. It's Celebrity Book Club. Come read it while it's hot. Celebrity Book Club. Tell your secrets, we won't talk. Celebrity Book Club. No boys are allowed. Celebrity Book Club. Say it loud and proud. Celebrity Book Club.
Buzz me in, I brought the Cuervo.
Hey, best friend.
Hey, Lily.
Hey, Steven.
I'm so excited to see you today.
I'm wicked excited to see you. And I'm also wicked excited for the book and something else we have in store today.
Yeah, no, today has a couple of surprises and emphasis on the word couple.
Yeah.
A set of twin surprises, you might say.
Yes. Today we're talking about our second twin book that we've done.
In many ways, the other side of the coin.
Yeah, the polar opposite. We've done Tegan and Sarah
We've
before.
done Canadian lesbian twins. But what about
San
Diego-based straight girl twins?
What about that?
What about that? Who are not musicians or artists, but do have some
Or
creative
actors or rock
streaks.
stars.
Well, actually, I think that you could term what they do as acting.
Yes.
And it's actually using your body to tell stories.
What San Diego, Arizona-based twins are we talking about? None other.
Then
The Bella Twins.
They sort of reshaped the landscape for women's wrestling.
Yeah, I just learned about how basically they changed it from the Attitude Era, which
yeah.
was all thongs and
Panties
bras.
and sort of hair pulling, and it was really sort of hyping up the sort of over-sexualized but not actually very athletic nature of sort of feminine physicality.
And they brought like a sexy era, but of actually wrestling, wearing more like
and of course, when we say
leggings.
actually wrestling, we still do mean wrestling, which is technically fake in terms of the storylines, but that athleticism that it requires is phenomenal.
Huge.
So yes, they are named Brie and Nikki Bella, and just to sort of fill in this
They're
picture a little more,
16 minutes apart.
Yes, that's incredibly important, but also as important is the fact that they have a show called Total Bellas and also Total Divas on the E! Network. And let's be honest, they're hot.
They're very hot.
Smoking hot.
Wicked hot. One has a boob job, one doesn't have a boob job. Still both hot.
Yeah, I would say your type 100%.
To a T, 100%.
Okay, gun to your head, boob job or no?
Honestly, well, I know.
Just say it.
Okay.
Just answer the question.
Yeah, boob job. Okay.
We know. Okay, so this brings us to our next huge surprise that we have. Another set of twins.
Another set of twins.
Shall we say?
I don't know if they've had boob jobs or not. We'll find out, hopefully.
Well, let's just come out and say it. This is
This is
huge
our first
moment in Celebrity Book Club history.
This is basically like us going to WWE for the first time.
Right, and competing in the majors.
Yeah.
For the very first time in CBC history, we have a
Yes.
guest. And not just one guest.
Two guests.
Two guests!
So welcome to the ring.
You know them from the famous, internationally recognized and renowned, celebrated podcast, Who Weekly. Please welcome to the stage, Bobby Finger and Lindsey Weber!
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, but what was great about that was you really evoked like the wrestling, because I learned so much about wrestling in this book that now I know everything and I'm an expert and I love it and I'm obsessed. But like, you really brought up the like, we're like a tag team. We're in the ring. We just showed up. We like walked to the stage and like whatever outfit people are cheering, like maybe we're the villains. You guys could be the heroes because it's your podcast.
Or heels. Your heels.
We're the heels.
Yes.
We're the, I'm part of it, the aces or like.
Don't you feel like you learned so much? Like this book, it does teach.
No.
Oh, yeah.
They should, I mean, and this book should be taught in schools. I would say, I think anywhere in the Sun Belt, which is clearly where the wrestling industry is based, because this whole book takes place in Tampa, Scottsdale, San Diego, Vegas, like anywhere on the southern strip of the United States, like they should be teaching this because everyone aspires to either UFC or wrestling or something in that realm, I think, or at least
Right.
Yeah.
40% of
Yeah,
people.
and you learn wrestling involves every single skill you could possibly have. Your brain, you're acting, you're doing sports, you're hurting your body, you're facing, masculinity, terrible masculinity at every turn.
Business skills.
No, it's very, very corporate. And then the sort of interplay of having to sort of campaign for your own sort of creative agenda within a corporate hierarchy, but then having that also play out in front of fans, in front of the world.
Mm-hmm. Right. When she says that Vince McMahon, who's like the head of WWE,
who is a very sort of suspiciously Svengali-like character, and they just refer to him as Vince all the time, and I'm just like, no one ever says anything bad about him. I'm just like,
but he seems like the scariest person on earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, I just want to be clear, Bobby is the one with the boob job, not me.
Okay.
But you think mine looks
supernatural.
You think it looks really good.
I couldn't even
Lindsey
tell.
complimented me when I got it, though. She's very supportive.
I support it. It's just not for me, Like we're 16 minutes apart, and just one of us came out with an umbilical cord, and the other didn't, and one got a boob job.
And Lindsey's better at soccer, but I'm better at ballet. So those are just our differences,
I love twins. Did the Tegan and Sarah book also do the twin thing where it's like, she's this, I'm this, like very Olsen twins,
It goes back and forth between the twins a lot.
Yeah, it's the same format of like Nicole, Brie.
I would say
Nicole.
To me, Brie and Nikki are actually a lot easier to tell apart than Tegan and Sarah. Tegan and Sarah, I'm just like, okay, you're both giving me like lesbian vibes. But like Nikki and Brie, it's like Nikki is clearly just like the boob job soccer player who's just like, way more typically randy, raunchy girl, but also just like worried about what her boyfriend thinks. And then
she's
Brie's
the
like,
one also who dates the more controlling
the more controlling,
men.
intense men, the one with the darker history of sexual abuse. Whereas Brie is the hippie, the artist, who loves New York City.
Yeah, New York, Greenwich Village, rock and roll.
So wait, are you guys fans of Total Divas and or Total Bellas?
No and no.
No.
I knew so little about wrestling actually that every page it's like Lindsey said, I was learning. I was like, oh, that's how it works. Oh, that's what kayfabe is. Okay. Oh, they have to pay for their own clothes. Incredible.
I did go through a wrestling phase when I was in middle school because the boys liked it. So I'm like, I'm cool. Like, I'm one of the boys. I'm going to like know about Triple H and like care about like, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Which I guess is now something we all know about because The Rock is a super celebrity.
Okay, hold on.
So you're a guy's girl.
So you were a total guy's girl and you were just like, yeah, let me impress all these guys with my WWE
It's
knowledge.
crazy that just most of my friends were guys. Like, I don't know how it happened. It just, I'm so joking.
I don't know, just super chill for some reason.
Wait, so you were like wearing like a Stone Cold 316 like trucker hat to school and hoping to get asked to the prom because you wore it?
I definitely came close in middle school to doing that type of thing. I don't think I got as far as buying merch, but I definitely watched wrestling with friends and pretended it was cool and pretended I cared and pretended I got it, which I didn't,
Like, so you're rocking this just like iced like Diet Coke in a plastic glass, just being like, oh no, when like a big slam happens.
Yeah. But I do still kind of think that if I were to watch WrestleMania like once, I'd be into it. Because for me, if I just sat, I'd be like, this rules. I love it. It's theater. It's art. I know that would happen. Like Bobby, right? Like I could
you
get
get into
really
it, and I think that the barrier to entry with me is the same, but like maybe one other element, which I feel like you also share, is like if I'm in a group setting, I'll watch anything and I'll have the time of my life. I could watch the worst movie, the worst show, but the thing about wrestling that I didn't understand until like not this book exactly, but later in life, like my 20s, is that I just thought it was fake and that everyone was acting like it wasn't. I didn't realize that the fakeness of it was understood and acknowledged and accepted, and like it's just entertainment. And once I crossed that like barrier, I was like, oh, this is just
method actors.
It's just television. It's just scripted television. Who cares?
Also, Bobby, if you had seen Bibi Rexha on WrestleMania like live, you would totally stand. You would be like,
so you're already dropping names more.
Wait, did Bibi Rexha, did she like perform at a halftime show or did she actually
Bibi
wrestle?
Rexha was like a character called Bibi Rexha on the latest WrestleMania. And I don't know if she performed, but she was there and she looked amazing. And I think she was like playing herself within the world, which is incredible.
That's so insane because she's also part of the Albanian mafia with Dua Lipa and Ava Max.
No comment on that one. We're staying out of the fray.
Are you afraid of the Albanian?
Oh, I mean, Rita, the other one, is just such a main character of our show. We can't go into darkness.
It's interesting, Lindsey, I feel like Lily is very your type where like she'll be watching a Carlos Mencia stand-up special for an hour and 20 minutes, stone face, like not even the lightest chuckle.
No,
and she will just be like, yo, it was good. And it's just like, why are you're not even enjoying this?
I fully disagree. I think I am laughing at the Carlos Mencia special. I also think I'm with you. It's more my barriers. If I see anything live, I'm obsessed.
Anything live. Anything.
Yeah, I'm like done. So in high school, we used to go to Ring of Honor, which many of these people came up in, which is like one of the minor leagues.
It's kind of, you like come up through the amateur circuit. And so this is like this Eastern Seaboard circuit. And we would go to, veterans halls and like random banquet halls.
As they said, it's like, that's where you're coming up. That's where you're wrestling in the back of a CVS, like at a Greater Orlando, grocery store parking lot.
Yeah, the Fuddruckers training center. And it's like, and they do all this. They have the characters, they do the chair throwing, it's all of the histrionics.
It is, drama. Scripted, but it is like they are actually wrestling.
But there's something actually quite, I would say, really artful about the fact that this whole audience, they know it's fake. They are appreciating the performance. They're there to appreciate the storylines and these people bringing this fiction to life.
No, it's crazy because it's the gayest sport.
Yeah. Well, it's the gay sport because everyone's in these fucking little skimpy outfits. You got guys in thongs, basically.
And you have full soap opera storylines.
And everything is just kind of everyone's in love with each other. Like there's all just like tension. It's like you're evil, you're good.
It's melodrama.
Like, it is really it's gorgeous melodrama. Like it is a soap opera and everyone gets involved. I mean, I just really think like Poptimism really fucked me, which is like, now I think everything that is bad, like, could also be good. Or is it bad? Is it good? Like, now I'm ruined by that mentality, that kombucha girl mentality about pop and culture and all of that. But maybe it's fun because then I watch anything and I'm like delighted,
I think the phenomena to which you're referring actually is, at least that element of it, the appreciation element is good because it means that our vocabulary is expanding and we can find, elements of interest to pull out of all these things. And you can watch totally bad TV guilty pleasures and you can be like, wow, like there's really interesting political dynamics happening here. There's really interesting acting. There's interesting styling here. You know what I mean? There can be quite a rich tapestry that is found within the 45 minutes of a Kardashian episode in which almost nothing happens. Right.
Like Total Bellas is good, but like 3 billboards outside of like wherever, Louisiana, whatever that movie is, that sucks. That
was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm trying to give an example of like what I think is everything is bad is good, but when it's bad, it's very bad. Like 3 billboards.
Also,
bad.
the Bella twins would have taken those billboards down and there would have been no problems. They would have solved that problem so much better than Frances McDormand.
There's 2 of them.
Celebrity Book Club.
I was watching this episode of Total Divas, which focuses on all of the wrestlers, like all the female wrestlers, not just the Bellas. This was the original show they were on. And the plotline of the episode was very Kardashian. It was Brie, the hippie one, is telling Nikki the dangers of factory farming because they're like backstage at a video shoot and like Nikki is eating a grilled chicken salad and Brie's just like, that like chickens are completely tortured. And Brie's just like, whatever, it's protein. I'm just eating it. We're doing a video shoot. And then she's just like, actually look at this video. And then she shows her this like YouTube video of like these chickens at a factory farm like being beaten. And then Brie's just like, oh my God. It hurts so much. And she's telling the story. She's just like, and at that moment I got so sad. My heart was beating. And I think she means to say like my heart was pounding, but she just says my heart was beating. And it's
that sounds like something I would say.
It's very you. And then the rest of the episode is her like not being able to check in, but then they go to a farm, like a pasture-raised farm, and she learns what like cage-free means.
Okay, and it's such a tour. That's why it borders on this Kardashian thing where they're like, and now our entire family is going on a tour of a factory pig farm.
I just remembered that I did used to watch, or we did watch for the show when one of them was dating John Cena for a long time and he fucked with her like for years. She was always in the tabloids, and to better understand their relationship, I watched a few episodes of the show when it was like he was on it and he was so mean to her and he clearly was like, I'm more famous than you. Like I don't need this bullshit. And she broke free. We're so happy for her. But that show, I watched a little bit of that show and I got to say it was very entertaining. The two of them.
That's what the Total Bellas. That's what I just started because I was like, I always knew like Nikki and John were together and I just didn't realize like he was such a like scary, controlling asshole. When he's like, she just has insane neck surgery from obviously like breaking her neck wrestling. And then he's just being like, make your bed, just like, I will not go to dinner with you because I could be doing something productive right now. And every night after dinner, the men go to the cigar room and he's wearing like a full party, like pinstripe suit.
Right. And now the both of them are so happy. They both have husbands and kids and they live in like Napa. Like they really came out the other side.
They're people's favorite siblings. Like people would give an exclusive on every life event that they will have from the rest of their lives.
Magazine.
People magazines. They're their favorite siblings.
I was like, generally people.
They're people's favorite
the People
siblings.
magazine.
No, I
think it's obvious what the attraction to John Cena is. He is just like this absolute Hulk giant. And just like he has gargantuan hands. And I think we can assume he has a gargantuan cock. And he's just like so scary and like.
Yeah, that's the attraction. Like he's so scary and like is like fucking her so much in just like their insane darkened cigar room. And then on the other side, he's going to be like yelling at you about like laundry.
Yeah. Well, and this other episode I watched, she was like talking about how he fucks her on the bed in his tour bus and there's a mirror on the ceiling. And she was just like, yeah, and I can watch myself have sex. And then Nikki's like, oh my God, ew, stop. Don't tell me I have sex on this bed.
Okay, and then did you guys read the part in the book about the other one, Brie, and her husband Brian, who's like so Green Party, environmental?
Oh yeah.
And how like he's obsessed with Kama Sutra.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan. The yes man. Yes.
Two first names on that guy. That means that's special.
On the show, they reveal, and in the book, he can only have sex when a Himalayan salt lamp is on.
Oh, okay.
I did not
That's a new
know
one.
that.
That's a fun one. Yeah.
That adds
And I just
to
want to
this.
know, kind of round table, does anyone kind of on this pod right now need a Himalayan salt lamp to have sex?
I often need a fan on.
I mean, I have one.
White note.
Himalayan. Already.
Did you ever have sex before it?
It gives off a beautiful light. So in that way, I did laugh, but I then also thought it gives off beautiful light. Like that's my second thought. Like, maybe there is something to it.
It's a low light. It's like a warm kind of pinkish light. I think it's very flattering on all skin tones. It's usually at an angle that is flattering as well. It's not this like overhead thing.
But if he's a wrestler, he's a big guy, and also they are rich. So is what is his Himalayan salt lamp like? Like is his Himalayan salt lamp the size of like a credenza, or is it like the size of my water bottle? Like what are we talking here? Do we know?
Which is crazy because mine's really small and it's so heavy. And I wanted to one time, I was like, is this really salt? Like I didn't know, and I licked it and it was salt, but that's disgusting. But like I had to know because I was like, is this a scam? But
does he
really
say
salt. I don't think.
Did he say if it was the light or if it was like the vibe that he gets from it? Like
I think it's both. It's like the low light and this like kind of cool vibe.
Brie is very spiritual. As you know, there's mediums that she is regularly in contact with throughout her life to speak with her ex-boyfriend who
Bear.
who died in a car accident in high school.
Yeah, that was
How
traumatic.
Tragic
That was awful.
that?
That was traumatic.
Her high school boyfriend Bear, who is an artist, excuse me.
Oh my God. And his painting.
His art that was so good that Starbucks asked him to do a show in the store, an in-store show. Wait, did you see the part with his art?
I was just flipping to the end
because
because I was like, I have to look at those photos again. I loved them.
Exactly what you think a Starbucks artist.
It's so, oh my God, I'm looking at it again. It's so good. Half of his face on the left, half of Casey Musgraves' face on the right. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
He had shaggy blonde hair, full lips, and he painted her portrait. It felt like I was actually being seen. Sorry, this is one of the things I definitely highlighted. His real name was Edward, but everyone knew him, called him Bear. Oh my God, he's so cool.
And then the full bear paw
gets the
prints
bear
with
paws.
his family.
Wait, so she gets them on her like
On her
lower
ass?
sort of. I feel like she gets them on her like upper pubis area.
Yes, and she has a boyfriend who hates them because he's like...
And that was a sign that she shouldn't be with him. And that was Bear protecting her and speaking from the dead.
Also get bear prints on her upper...
claws.
She has
but she got rid of them?
On her tits, but she got rid of them, right? That's true.
Wait.
What?
She got rid of them?
Yeah, she got rid of her. She didn't want to be...
Those are so iconic.
She joined the cast of The Talk and was like, these are not for me anymore.
Oh, she almost got rid of them. She almost got rid of them.
Okay. Whew.
Okay.
I was
She
about
almost
to
got
have
rid
to
of them.
leave and have a moment with a salt lamp.
No, I was like,
Yeah.
actually, like,
A solo salt lamp moment.
Yeah, if you know what I'm saying.
it is weird to think about them being rich and having just like this Urban Outfitters $60 salt lamp, and you're just like, can't you get like?
Well, they show the salt lamp on the show, and it's very from Bed Bath and Beyond.
Oh, it's not
right.
right.
Again,
That's
it's
too bad.
smaller size.
Because if they were like fucking in like in a Himalayan salt like
a salt
sauna,
cave.
I'd be like, whoa, that
would
is
be
vibes.
so fab.
Like
A
great.
custom Himalayan salt sauna.
But they
No,
shouldn't be
it
having
was-
on home.
They shouldn't be using the same device I use, like a peasant, you know, like my salt lamp that I got for like $20 on Amazon, you know?
Right.
Like they should reach for more. They're famous
Considering
people.
they are wrestling royalty.
Well, he also mentioned that he has the same car as me, Daniel, yes man, on the show, a Honda Fit. So I think he is very environmental.
Yeah, so he's a faggot.
Yeah, no, I was like, you are gay.
I mean, he is very, I mean, his look is not the typical wrestler look. He's like bearded. He has like long hair.
He loves Jill Stein. He's like the opposite of Cena.
Wait, is that Nikki's? Which one dated John's? I think that's the wrong Bella. The thing is, I mix them up a lot. Which Bella?
So Nikki is boob job, John Cena, always dating an aggressive guy,
Right.
darker history of sexual abuse in her past.
And
Brie
she's
is
now with
Brian.
the Dancing with the Stars guy. She had a baby with Dancing with the Stars, which is not in this book. That came after this book.
Oh, okay. Thank God. Because I was wondering, I was like, ugh, the Cena relationship is so toxic.
Yeah, they
I
broke
hope-
up. He got a new girlfriend who he's now engaged with, and she fucked around with her Dancing with the Stars partner. They fell in love. They had a baby. Then the Bella twins had their own spread in People where they both had the babies at the same time, which is
fab.
just.
Wait, is he just like a random like Eastern European dancer?
What's his name, Bobby?
Isn't it Artem?
Oh, wait, I
Artem,
heard
right?
it in the... Yeah, Artem.
He's either Artem or Valb. I always mix them up.
Okay, so he is a random Eastern European dancer.
Which is perfect because he can just be like strong and silent.
I think
as,
it's
like her
it's
and-
perfect. And also falling in love on Dancing with the Stars is just one of the most iconic things you can do as a celebrity. Like there's nothing better than that.
I mean, she really does. I mean, this goes back to her being like, you use your body to tell stories. And she uses her body to tell stories. And then her body tells her a story of romance, right? She fell in love with this other wrestler. She falls in love with the snowboarder.
Oh, right. That pro snowboarder.
That pro snowboarder who was like also so toxic for so long.
So many
Oh, wait, no,
tough-
maybe it was Brie who did it, the snowboarder.
I'm telling you, it's so hard to keep track. And also sometimes I think their names are Bella, so it's really difficult once you take a step away.
It is weird. I kept being like, is their last name actually Bella?
No, wait, no, I don't know.
Their last name? No, their last name was
Yeah.
it was like it was like Garcia. Yeah. I think their last name was Garcia.
Oh, right.
Okay, since their dad was like
the father
abusive.
was Mexican.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what I meant.
Sorry, yeah. Most abusive dads, their last name is Garcia. That tracks, yeah.
Garcia Colas, but yeah, it was not Bella.
Okay. I was going to say they took away, they have made amends, it seems, with the dad.
Right, no, and now he has like multiple other families, but like they're talking now. And Bear was actually one of the people who told her that you should
Forgive your father.
exercise forgiveness. So the dad was physically abusive in like a hitting way, it sounds like.
And just like angry, but also because it's not funny, but they're like, oh, he was a drug addict, but then they're like, I think he was on mushrooms at that time. So it was like, you think you're like, oh, this drug addict dad that he's on like meth or something like that, and I guess that's
well,
like
I think
even
meth
more.
may have been in there too at some
Yeah,
point.
no, I think it was a lot of things.
It's the Southwest, right? So they're from Phoenix, right?
And San Diego,
And
I also couldn't keep track. And Tahoe.
Yeah. Well,
Everything
so
was-
Tahoe, they would go to Tahoe a lot because their
Yes.
grandparents lived there. Another thing I want to talk about this book is the prevalence of Hyatt hotels. There is a Hyatt reference like every 15 pages or so. Like,
Well, she sadly got raped
She
in a
got
Hyatt.
raped in a Hyatt, but the Hyatt in Tahoe was also her safe space. Because that's where the grandparents would like vacation, and they would pretend to be like detectives at the gift shop, and they would like sell hotel shampoos on the the beach.
Oh, wait, that was fabulous. They would just take Hyatt shampoos and sell them on the beach to like...
They would like party at the Hyatt and another Phoenix when they were teens. It was...
Did you guys have any random childhood businesses like selling shampoo from a Hyatt?
Businesses? No.
No, but I did have a job when I was like 12. I worked at a under the table, got cash. I worked at a like personalization baby store where they would sell like baby toys and gifts, and we would write on them. So it's like if you came, they'd be like, "What's the baby's name?" And then they like, listen, there are only a few options. Do you want sports or balloons or animals? Do you want primary colors, which are for boys? Do you want pastel colors, which are for girls? God. These are the questions I had to ask. I know. Gender was very specific then. I wouldn't.
Was it like
you just filled in the Excel
that you would
sheet?
write like Chris on a soccer ball or something?
No, I just took the order, and then there were these mass art students in the back who were like really cool and like taught me like everything I had to know about like how to be cool, and they would do the art. Which is like a cool job for them. And also a cool job for me because I would just sit in front and eat candy and sell stuff.
Are you from Boston?
Are you from Boston?
Yes, I am. Unfortunately.
Get the fuck out of town. Get the fuck out of town. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school?
Do you want to guess?
Your Zoom windows are each like vibrating.
I'm from, let's just say I'm Jewish. Where do you think I grew up?
You're from Newton.
Brooklyn.
Yes.
Brooklyn.
No, I'm from Newton. You got it exactly.
Shut the I'm from Newton.
Are you really? How old are you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is about to
Did you go to Newton South and Newton North or whatever the question is?
I've been a
witness to this conversation 1 million times. Which high school did you go to?
Did you grow up? Wait, are you from like Newton Highlands?
Yeah, I'm from Newton Highlands.
Oh my God. I could tell.
Wait. So did you...
Wait, do you know that store? High Maintenance?
Yes, I do. Wait, so do you know the store... I don't know how old you are, but because it closed a few years ago. But do you know the store Scribble It? Do you remember that store?
No.
Scribble It. It was
This was the personalization store.
It was off Dedham Street if you were going on Highland towards Needham, and you would turn and there was a big gas station, a pizza store, Scribble It, and maybe a tile store. This is where I hung out all the time.
Okay, the tile store is ringing a bellio.
Yes, and I could walk. You could walk from there to Newberry Comics and like go shopping on your lunch.
The one
break.
on Needham Street.
Yes, that's where.
Oh my God.
Where are you guys? Where are you from, Lily?
I'm from Cambridge, kind of Porter Square area, so I'm kind of more garage based.
Wait, hold on. We're still on Needham here.
I love the garage. Okay, loved it.
That Newbury Comics was so iconic because like, you're on Route 9 or like you're on Needham Street and you're just like, okay, are we going to Tweeter? Are we getting to electronics?
We're gonna go to McDonald's.
Are we going to Noodles and Company? Like, are we going to McDonald's? Like,
we're gonna go to Super Salad for dinner.
Anything could happen on Needham Street.
Literally, my mom
go to Marshall's.
My mom used to call it the Strip, and whenever we would like go for a walk, she would be like, "Are you gals gonna go walk the Strip?" Meaning like walk down Needham Street to Newberry Comics. Wow, Bobby, are you gonna kill yourself now?
No.
This is truly the worst. Your worst nightmare.
I'm not from Newton, but I did start watching This Is a Robbery last night, so I feel pretty connected to the city of Boston right now.
Wait, about the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum,
which has a huge connection to this book because
Daniel Bryan says he wanted to propose to Brie at the third floor of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, which is so fucking random.
No, because that was their first date when they were there doing the garden for WWE.
Do you think that they stole the paintings? I know
they did it. Yes,
I know the timing doesn't match up, but
they still did it.
It doesn't match up, but it's never been proved.
We figured it out. We figured it out.
It literally could have been. I mean,
This Is a Robbery.
She loves that.
She does. She loves. Okay,
she's got this Rembrandt hanging in a like San Diego condo.
It's the only one he did of a seascape. I'm telling you, it's the only seascape.
How good is that series,
it's
Bobby?
Great.
Like it's so good. You guys need to watch this.
Sold.
We're on.
We already railed it.
Yeah.
It's so good. The woman, the last 2 episodes, she's just like, so this frame, it looks like fingerprints are on it, which is talking about the like gilded frame.
Or the guy from the Globe Hope, who's like, I don't want to be a wicked snob or anything, but this Historic Gardening Museum, yeah, it's a little bit better than the MFA. Excuse me, okay?
I know I sound like such a fucking snob right now.
I love that guy.
The woman who was the witness who was like on her boyfriend's piggyback while they were passing
Oh
the
my
car.
God.
You're like,
the reveal
who
where
is
she
this
says,
woman?
where she's like, so I was on his back. I asked him to give me a piggyback ride. And then it cuts to the guy and he's like, so we were drunk and she asked to get on my back. And it's like, okay, you're leaving out some details.
I'm obsessed with this.
I screamed when they said piggyback because I was like, that defines the ultimate theater kid flirting to me. To be like, hey, can you give me a piggyback? And it's like, you're like horny, but you're theater. And it ends up in piggyback ride.
Everything is
feel like
misdirected.
I've like almost never been on a guy's back in a piggyback.
I've
context.
never gotten a
and
piggyback
I'm
ride.
I'm feeling like so much like reverse FOMO or like just regular FOMO. Like
Back to the bells for 1 second about her love of art, Breeze, when she like moves to Greenwich Village and she's just like Carrie Bradshaw, I thought Manhattan was my only true love.
yeah, that whole part I was just like the whole book I had been like, am I a Brie? And then I was just like, I'm a Brie.
Okay, there we go. And then she goes, hanging on my wall, I had a guitar signed by Keith Richards I bought wasted in an online auction. How fab is that?
I mean, when you're rich and you quote love art, like that is dangerous and also so exciting to me. You know what I mean? Because if I was rich and loved art, I'd buy boring stuff that's probably pretty good. If I had no taste, if I was these people and was rich and had access to buying art, like you would acquire the most amazing shit.
Truly, I always think about like if I was so rich, I would love to buy joke art for friends. Just be like, sorry, I just bought you this insanely expensive, horrible painting sculpture. I'm having it delivered to your house.
Right, but it's like a
Movers are
sexy,
coming.
it's like a $4,000 like oil painting of like a sexy olive in like high heels, you know, like jumping into a martini.
Oh.
Wait, okay, I'm sorry.
Well, that is
actually my dream
Wait,
art.
that's
That
like
was a
Vegas art,
painting-
Lindsay.
That's real.
There's like a
Yeah,
store in
that's real.
Vegas
That's
that
a
sells that
specific
art.
artist.
Yeah, I love that guy. What's his name?
Yeah,
I love that
that's Chris Angel's favorite
Chris Angel's
artist.
favorite
I don't know
artist.
his
Yes,
name,
that's
but
it.
you could Google it so easily.
Where's his store? Oh, in Vegas.
In
Michael
Vegas, it's in
Goddard. Michael Goddard.
It's also Atlantic. It's also in Atlantic City too. Michael Goddard.
A strawberry,
Michael Goddard.
like doing a high kick in high boots on a motorcycle.
High heels.
We saw
In Key West.
in Key West there was a store like
It was a woman in a total boyfriend button down, martini leaning against a wall, sipping on a
was
martini.
she a martini or she
was just drinking a martini.
Okay.
She
Truly
wasn't
the-
body.
Truly, the only reason to get rich is to buy garbage. So I fully support everyone's dreams to get this art put in a basement somewhere.
I do wonder how rich they are because so for a while she talks about they're only making $500 a week.
Well, that's an early developmental. I think
was
the thing with wrestling is like you're paid shit for so long.
I mean, I assume obviously E was paying them some contract, but maybe like in those first few seasons, E was fucking them over and not paying them very much.
I mean, probably, but they are. But who is a name brand wrestler now that who's like
Ronda Rousey.
like
She's UFC.
but she's fighter, right? Fighter.
Yeah, that's like different. She actually
y'all
fights.
are
I
like
really do
fully-
think
She kicks.
It's just-
I went into it under the assumption, and I was thinking about that story. Lindsay, did you read it? The story on Vice about like the drag race contestants and how much money they have to spend out of their own pockets to compete and like how it's increased
Right.
over the years. I like went into it thinking about that, where I was like, you probably, like you said, Lily, like you probably make nothing or like barely enough to justify it for so long. And you have to hope for like a show, some sort of licensing thing, like a book deal, like
Coca-Cola
the money's
sponsorship.
coming elsewhere, but the show is a means to an
It's
end.
licensing.
Yeah, like
they were probably making more money at the Hooters in Greater San Diego
They
than
made
they were the first
$8 an hour. Actually,
plus
remember that?
tips.
She says she actually made most of her money when she was a bartender at the Mondrian. Because she was like, this was a fancy place where you can make your rent only working 2 nights a week.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
Brie was just like, I need a cushion. I'm sorry, but like, I need a little extra money later on. Like, Nikki could just like have $10 in her bank account when the rent was due.
Yes, and like
Because like she's a dumb whore with a boob job, but like I actually need to go to the Mondrian and just like make a couple extra bucks.
I mean, if you have the talent to do that, then why wouldn't you? Truly, why wouldn't you?
oh no, that's why I've never been able. I feel like anytime I tried to get a waitressing job, I just like was not flirty or like femme enough, I feel like, to waitress, or clumsy. That was also a thing.
Yeah, I like that you're
clumsy.
trying to make it all about the gender discrimination when just like...
It was where, yeah, I feel like they're just like me, like crashing plates. I guess, yeah, I'm just saying, like, obviously I could not be a bottle girl at the Mondrian, or, I mean, I do have big toes. I could have done Hooters, like Hooters and Saugus if I played it up, maybe.
Yeah, I just think it's just like, I don't know, it's just like exhausting. You have to be fake with like so many people all the time. And just
they like, oh, and you think we let guys like do whatever they want at Hooters? Like, no. And then of course that's like so many stories of them. Like, I feel like that's how they got into wrestling. They were just like kicking ass at Hooters of any guy who touched their ass and like drop kicking so many men. But then they were also like, God bless the veterans who tipped us.
Yeah. Wait, that's actually, yeah, she basically said veterans were the best Hooters customers ever because they would only have like 24 hours like of shore leave. And so they would just have to spend all this money that they were given. Their per diem or whatever. They'd be throwing down a $30 tip on a $20 bill. Whereas like the Tampa Bay Raiders or whatever came through and were just like pretending to fuck them doggy style. And she's like calling the cops on them and like kicking them out of the restaurant. And they're like,
I would read a whole book, a whole memoir about Hooters.
I mean, I also love the quote, once a Hooters girl, always a Hooters girl.
Yeah. No, when that came out, I was like, done. Get that tattooed on my body. Like,
she talked about it in reference for waiting in line to audition for WWE at like some Tampa thing. And she was like, and all these other girls were dressed like too slutty, but like we were actually dressed in more like athletic clothing. But she was like, but let's be honest, like they all worked at Hooters and I worked at Hooters. And it was just like, it was actually like a Hooters convention. So it's just like, I'm not going to lie. Like, yes. But I did think that we were doing something better by being more like Lululemon.
Right. But then they were also like, and we used our like in those insane Hooters nylons that they wear. I feel like they like implemented that like later into their
Wait, could I read a passage where she just lists a bunch of wrestlers' names? Because I feel like it just kind of helps illustrate the world we're talking about. She's talking about like all the women who paved the way or she paved the way for or something. We got to the point of being called...
I think it's I think that paved the way for her.
Oh, okay, wait.
Yeah.
We got to the point of being called superstars because of the women who paved the road for us. It started with Mae Young, the fabulous Moolah, Sensational Sherry, Luna Vachon, Leilani Kai, Alundra Blaze, Jacqueline, Trish Stratus, Lita, Tori Wilson, Molly Holly, Victoria, Mickey James, Beth Phoenix, Gail Kim, Melina, Michelle McCool, Natalia, and so many more. I love Michelle McCool.
No, all those names are so good, and I like want to go back and
they're all
them.
just like not like super crazy, but just like
it's
a little
very
off.
like Good Evening America. I'm Chloe Sevigny. Like that list is extremely Drew Droege.
Also, I'm sorry, but no mention of China. Like, get out of here. Like, you have
to. Oh my
like,
God.
How
Thank you for
Wait,
bringing
not
this
reference
up.
once, and I wonder if they have beef. Wait, also rest in peace.
They must.
R.I.P.
They must.
Fully R.I.P.
Wait,
and fully don't. How dare you disrespect the woman,
She's
the
not in the
other
book
wrestler I
once.
can name, who's a woman.
She's not named once.
Wait.
Do you think maybe it's actually more respect for the dead?
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, I'm just not even going to comment on China the way you kind of won't get into
It's not her
the
story to
Albanians.
tell.
Yeah.
It's weird that that she's not even mentioned just like as a kind gesture, you know, like in memoriam of the, you know, the woman that paved the way.
Right.
I respect her. And then like
so
stop
many
talking
women.
if there is bad blood or there's something weird to say. Like it is strange that she wasn't mentioned. I don't know.
I've just never heard of any of those women, but like China, I'm so familiar with.
Hello.
So it's just crazy to think that the one we've heard of is not in her list of. This is a feminist book, okay? And I want you to talk about our feminist heroes.
That's so
China.
true. It's very the opposite of Kevin Garnett, whose book we read, but he's he pays a lot of homage to the basketball players who came before him. And it's like, you can't write a book about basketball and not mention like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and like the people that everyone has heard of.
Right, it's like if he just didn't mention Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it would be insanely awkward.
And she's being more glow, and I feel like these are kind of random 80s chicks that like no one has heard of. Here's what I wonder. They're so obviously McMahon squad. And
it's like
uncomfortable.
China and Vince have a falling out.
Yes. And I think maybe like China's
Because did China make the family look bad? Is that kind of what she kind of...
The family.
the family.
Well, and I feel like she probably really self-medicate because, as we know, Brie is like, and the thing is, I broke my neck 1,000 times and I would do it again. And it's just like everyone is breaking so many necks. And
Wait,
I feel like China got addicted to pills.
Speaking of them breaking themselves, don't they both have like very serious vaginal injuries? They each have their own. We haven't gotten there yet.
But no, thank you.
It's like they both have like twin vagina injuries that are slightly different. And you're like, why are we here? How did we get here? You know?
Yeah, it's really how do we get here? And she blames it on, which I do think makes sense. She's like, we had no sex ed. And she goes, I was going to Victoria's Secret, getting lotion and putting it everywhere.
She blames it on scented Victoria's Secret lotions.
Which growing up in like Victoria's Secret area, I feel like...
I get it.
And she basically like draws a direct line between vaginal cysts and Victoria's Secret products.
Doesn't she also wear lace underwear, and that doesn't help either? Something gets caught.
She wears this thong that gets like torn up while she's like dancing at a club like in the early 2000s in Los Angeles.
You know how like typically it's like boys will be like when you describe like stuff happening to dicks, boys are like, ew, like I can't, like don't talk about like balls getting hit. It's like it's visceral for me. I feel like reading these vaginal injuries, I finally understood like the gross out of like talking about like genitals being hit with something or something.
No,
like
because like when someone tells a story about like getting their scrotum caught in a zipper flap, you can truly feel it, and then you have this fear of like being at a urinal like at a movie theater.
Finally understand that as a woman reading these passages, being like, I want to die. Like each one of these is worse than the one before.
Wait, I'm obsessed with the empathy this book is fostering. Wait, did you find the path?
Well, there's a lot about. Okay, so here's the part we're talking about their business about like Birdie Bee, their high quality lingerie.
So high quality,
right?
Yeah. Nicole immediately told them that we want to make products from fabrics that are good for our vaginas. I was trying not to laugh. I think she said vagina 20 times in that first meeting. I could tell they wanted to react with a, wow, you were saying the word vagina. They had barely perceptible reaction every time she said it. But that was exactly the point. We think that the word vagina shouldn't make people blush. No woman should be embarrassed to say it. We always felt that way. But then they go on to being like, about the fabric, the Shark Tank part?
Well, that's why they had to part ways with Damon.
Yeah.
So they got a deal with Damon even though they were never on Shark Tank.
Right.
And of course, he pushed a licensing deal, which is all he ever does on the show. I mean, all they do on Shark Tank is they're just like offshore, cheaper labor, cheaper fabric. And he was pushing cheaper fabric, and she was like, that's not how we roll.
Well, she goes, quote, I had to keep reminding him that I'm a hippie. Hell yes. Just being like, Damon, I'm a hippie, okay? This lingerie is going to be high quality.
To be fair, if you were a hippie, you'd be wearing no underwear. If you were a true hippie. So let's not even...
Right, you wouldn't be wearing Brie Bella's like licensed lace underwear.
Exactly.
And then I'm obsessed. They talk about how they want to start making Bella tampons and Bella lube.
Love that.
Yep.
Great.
But I love their like multi-page breakdown about how they fucked up in not making enough sizes and not showing enough skin tones in their advertisements. And they like do this very, very long apology that's like heartfelt, and you can tell that they like, I mean, it's almost one of the longest amounts of times that they spend on a single topic. And it's like, we're so sorry that we did this. We didn't mean to do this. We're so sorry that we did this. And it goes on forever.
I feel like they must have gotten canceled.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it was maybe
by the Bella Army.
But like pretty hugely on social for that, if it warranted that long.
But doesn't it end with them being like, well, next time we won't. But this time we only made this many sizes. And I guess it just all went to the factory. And oh, well, please buy it. Bye. Like, they don't.
Yeah.
No, I love that somehow at the end of the book, it's just being like, our neck injuries, like, go, like, women powder. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, goes to full Shark Tank. And they're just being like, talking about licensing deals and like tampons and apologies of sizes. And it's just
I kind of wish
we're in this business meeting now.
The book, like, it's like the last 20 pages, they start just like really rapidly listing a lot of business deals. And you're like, I wish we could have spent a little more time on that.
Yeah.
I know, that's interesting. It's true. That is the most interesting.
What, Bella Radicchio or whatever? Their red blend?
Yeah, they have two. She was like, we have our two wine companies, Bonita
and Birdie Bee.
and Birdie Bee.
Weirdly, somebody did call our podcast and tell us, someone who like lives in Napa and like works in wine, and they were like, the only celebrities I would trust with wine are the Bella twins. And the reason why, is because I always see them. They're everywhere and they love wine and they're always drinking it, and I just would trust them to know. And I was like, wow, that's That's a real compliment.
That's an endorsement.
I will say it is very like drink a red blend every time they say they love wine in this book.
Right.
It's kind of they're just like, oh yeah, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna want to relax with a big glass of red and get into Brie mode.
I love Brie mode. It seems like Brie mode can mean anything.
Yeah, like because Brie mode can be wrestling, but Brie mode can also just be like wine with the gals at a San Diego.
But it can also mean like, don't talk to me. I'm in Brie mode. I wanted to talk about a quick. Did you guys notice very early in the book one of the most shocking other celebrity mentions when she says that Freddie Prinze Jr. was a writer on WWE.
And then she moves on past it.
Did anyone draw it on the floor? She walks right past it. She was like, oh, at the time Freddie Prinze Jr. was working as a writer for WB. So we talked about my storyline. I'm like,
that was the first note I made.
She even begins the sentence with, because I'm looking through all my highlights, and she says, randomly, Freddie Prinze Jr. was the writer who was working with me at WWE. And it's like, but can we unpack this a little more? Like, randomly isn't enough.
Yeah.
Randomly is not enough.
Like, randomly acknowledges the fact that, it's the most insanely random thing anyone could possibly imagine, but we're going to need more info.
It's like, we're going to talk about how inconvenient when your ex-boyfriend flew to Orlando and then you had to pick him up and, like, drive him to Tampa, but we're not going to unpack Freddie Prinze.
Right, and it's not like she's the wrong age. She's the right age to have, like, been a fan of Freddie Prinze Jr. at the time that he was, like, hunky and in movies. So it makes sense that she would be like, I stand, like, tell me, let's have a conversation, but I guess not.
I guess it's like you just have to take other jobs and when you're not getting acting work. I mean,
this seems more of passion project. Like he was like, he's a celeb and is just like went to Vince McMahon and was just like, I want to write wrestling. And they were like, okay.
I forget the story, but there's some story about how he was doing this because he's like a big nerd. He also like does Star Wars stuff too. Like he has a weird. I've
heard about the Star Wars stuff.
Very passionate about Star Wars. Yeah.
Okay, and he's got a PS5 and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
He's very just like con.
Coming home. He's going to cons all the time. And like she's going to cons to, like for some of the cons with him, but like a lot of them she's just like, you know what, Freddie, like you just
because if she went to a con, it would like it would explode San Diego.
This is a hashtag UConn.
No, do you guys know on 95 in Connecticut, if you're driving out of New York, there's the huge WWE offices?
Yeah.
Stanford,
but then
Stanford,
Yeah, Stanford. But then they're all based in Tampa. I guess they have a few offices. I always imagine maybe that's corporate.
That's corporate. No, in this whole book though, because I'm very familiar with that office you speak of. If you're driving up to Boston from New York, you're very familiar with it.
I think that's the corporate office. That's where the pencil pushers
the accounting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not where Vince McMahon is just. I was just picturing him though in this big corporate office in Stamford, like going through all the storylines on a big board.
I think Stephanie is there, his insane daughter, because she ran for Republican governor of Connecticut.
Yeah. Linda McMahon ran for Republican governor of
wife.
Connecticut.
Right.
Yes.
But Stephanie's a big star. She's like always on the show. She's always yelling at people on the show.
And she has a match with one of the Bellas.
God,
as part of this, and she's like,
Stephanie didn't have to match with me, but she did, and it's like, stop acting like you're not also a massive wrestling celebrity. Like Stephanie didn't have to like do this whole like storyline with Triple H where like they're arresting me.
It's very Lorne Michaels bullshit. It's very they're all gaslit. It's all Hugh Hefner, Girls Next Door. Right. It's very like we don't want to speak ill of this like clearly bad person, bad family because we know that like there's still something in it for us. Mm-hmm. Like we still could show up as guest stars. We still could do whatever we wanted, and it's just funny.
Yeah, and you have to kiss the ring like from here until your grave. But
kiss
it's like there's obviously something really insane about referring to them as the authority. It's just like it's so culty. Okay, this section is where she's talking about it, and it's like it's so convoluted that like the insane storylines that's wrapped up like with their weird just like corporate hierarchy. Brian and his yes chant led the opposition against the authority. In fact, it was an incredible moment. There was an Occupy WWE movement. It's like, wait, what? Where hundreds of people wore Daniel Bryan t-shirts and protested against the man by sitting ringside. Brian represented the people. Brian had broken his neck and couldn't wrestle. So the authority, i.e. Stephanie and Triple H, demanded that he give up his title while he was out recovering. The fans revolted, and so the authority thought that if he didn't give up his title, I had to quit wrestling. Brian responded that, of course, I wasn't going to quit. And then right before he was going to give up his title, I yelled, I quit, and slapped Stephanie McMahon. I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking
I mean,
about?
that was written,
so many-
right? That's fiction.
Yes, that's not fiction.
This was all like a fictional storyline that all the fans were. This was all kayfabe, and like the fans all knew exactly what was happening, and this was like all followed. It's just like,
and they're always
love
like
it.
getting
The
fake
lore.
arrested, and
But
I mean,
this
this one like it would be really fun to write for WWE, but it also sounds so confusing.
well,
The other thing about Vince, though, like them sort of like being very reverent to the WWE, didn't their mom marry one of the major WWE guys? Like that happened recently.
Yeah,
So
Johnny-
they're literally, it is
Johnny
the
Ace.
family business now. Like they can't speak ill of Vince
Right.
McMahon because their daddy is this other WWE daddy, you know? Like it's so strange.
No, and it's insane how much they tried. They're like all the other like girls or wrestlers like tried to think we got preferential treatment because I
It's
was
like,
dating Brian.
you did.
Like my sister was with John Cena, and my mom like is fully dating the talent manager of all WWE. She's like, actually, no, we didn't even know that our mom was dating Johnny, and like actually, like we didn't get any preferential treatment because like Nicole was with John. It's kind of like, well, babe, I don't know. Like I'm not totally believing it.
100%.
Also, the other business thing when she talks about the mom, like when she gets with Johnny Ace or whatever, who was like such an 80s star and is now the head of like VP Talent, she's like, they both love business and they like love to go to the pub and talk about contracts and LPs and RPIs and like so many other random finance stuff. And I was like, fab for them, honestly. Yeah. Third marriage.
that's what I want my third marriage to be like super spreadsheety. That sounds
Right, but it's
hot.
like that's like you're going to this San Diego, you're getting like big marks, and you're just talking about spreadsheets. And she's like, oh, like my mom was always getting ditched after date one because she talked too much about work.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not bad advice. I mean, to not follow.
So
to
I'm
not do
also
that
it's very
is-
Kardashian. Their mom is like their licensing manager. They don't really make it clear, but they're like,
Right.
our mom and brother do work with us.
Right. When they want to make the tampons with the wine in it, their mom is like, all right, honeys, like I will get on this. Like we will have these in production by Q3.
Another paycheck stays in the family, you know, very Kardashian.
It's like, right. It's like
And
10% just goes back to the big box, the big pot.
Right, and then
The
they're,
big jar.
they're forgetting to make the mom isn't ordering any like size positive tampons and like isn't hiring a diverse
Oh my
cast for the
God,
photo
you're
shoot.
right.
And it's like, sorry, the wheels are already in motion, and the twins are like, wait, no, we're gonna get canceled.
Yeah, you have to have tampons of, you really do need to have tampons of all sizes. Like that is. The last Kindle highlight that I took in all my Kindle highlights is Brian got to hear me poop while he looked me in the eyes. I love that we reach a whole new level of intimacy at a moment. I don't know what the context is, what they were doing, but that's what I have highlighted in my
That is
my highlights.
that is
No,
truly
Thank you for reading that.
the biggest like absolute no for me. It's very, you remember the episode where the guy shits with the door
yeah.
open, the cartoonist, the New Yorker cartoonist, and Miranda dumps him. Like I've done that. I have actually stopped seeing a guy because he shot with the door open, and I closed the door on him, and I never texted him again.
never
That's
opened the door.
reasonable. That
just
is
left him in
completely
there.
reasonable.
Left the
No,
house.
yeah. He
Sold
left
the
it
house.
Still there.
Yeah.
Literally sold the house with him in it. Parasite style. I was like, no, this is horrifying.
Exactly.
No, and it's just all about that was I think took place at a hotel because this whole book is like
Took place at a Hyatt.
It took place at a Hyatt.
yeah.
Yeah. Shitting in front of your boyfriend
In
in
a
a Hyatt. Goals.
I mean, that really is where we end up with these two. It's like developing the intimacy with our lovers to shit while looking at them in the eyes.
With the small Himalayan lamp travel, Bed Bath & Beyond. Lamp is plugged in.
And that's why we love Hyatt, because they have so many chargers next
Yes.
to the bed, next to the
USB.
desk.
Yeah. I gotta know, this has been so gorgeous. I have kind of one question.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Are you Nikki or are you Brie?
Oh, God.
Do you need a
I'm
week
gonna need
to
some
figure
time.
out
Well, the
this?
problem is like I still have trouble differentiating them because I was so used to reading it and then just like knowing that I was in a Nikki chapter because they used the word Brie, and I was like, okay, Nikki talks about Brie,
Right.
Brie
So
talks about Nikki. That's
true.
where I am right now.
Okay, like, who's the... I think I'm the
you're
more
a-
hippie one and Bobby's the other one, right? Maybe?
But which one's which?
Or- But to be
I
fair,
think it's kind of
Like Brie says she's a hippie. She cares about the chickens.
but to be
she-
fair,
they
Brie's
didn't
the
take
one-
any fast
No.
food
She
licensing.
dates
Lindsey,
artists.
Okay, but
Lindsey,
Brie's
I'm
the-
married to Artem. You're married to the wrestler guy. I think that's what it is.
Daniel.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah. I think personality-wise, that would be it. Although I will say, like, Bobby is married and I'm not. So, like, I'm the more, like, chaos one, you know, in terms of that. Versus, like,
well, but I think Brie... But yeah, Nikki is more chaos. Like, that's the whole thing.
Okay,
like,
yeah, I'm definitely
you were
more
saying you're
chaos.
Brie because you identify with, like, going to New York. But the thing is, like, her Carrie Bradshaw phase is a pretty, like...
heavy phase.
It's a heavy phase, but it's pretty, like, you know, subdued and calm and, like,
right,
polite.
like,
It's not that chaotic.
Who's the Carrie? And
Like, Brie is she's a calm Carrie. I think Brie is a calm Carrie, and Bobby, you're saying you're a calm Carrie.
Bobby is a calm Carrie.
Calm
actually,
Carrie
that is
sounds
true.
good.
Bobby is like walking down the street in Manhattan being like, Manhattan, the city of dreams. Like, that is actually Bobby.
Yeah, and then you're like going home and having one glass of wine. It's like not that
A glass
crazy.
of red.
That's
A
true.
glass of red.
That's
Getting
true.
in Bob
And I'm out
mode.
here trying to like invent like products for us to sell. Like, I'm like, Bobby, think about it. A Dunkin' Donuts, like a cup that looks like it says Dunkin' Donuts, but it says Who Weekly. Like, that would be hilarious. Like, that is actually
It's an Nalgene,
me.
but
Yeah.
it says Who Weekly in the Duncan font. Think about it.
That's actually an idea I had.
You're like,
It's gonna
hold on,
happen.
I'm gonna fly to San Diego to meet with some licensors, and then like,
I would do that. That's true. That's accurate.
Who are you?
That track. Yeah. What about you guys?
Well, I'm a Brie too, and I think in this because it's funny that Brie is the hippie, but in some ways, you know, I won't get into our whole hippie preppy
have a
dichotomy
whole-
that we've
yeah.
discussed, but in some ways, Brie is kind of more of a preppy.
yeah,
Even though she says she's a hippie, she's a hippie in a very preppy way because, as I said, she's a calm Carrie. She is more collected. She has the longer term relationships that are more stable. She likes New York, but she's very like together. And again, she always wants that cushion. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
just
I think
saving
that's
that
very
money.
me, and I'm very just like I need to take this other copywriting job because I need that cushion. I want to be able to spend $1,000 on Essence.com before I get out of bed, and I need to like get the financial cushion to do
the reason why you're
that.
also Brie is because she is also the most like, oh yeah, I just slept with a snowboarder.
Yes, and also and I'm also meeting a guy at a Whole Foods aisle, or he's French, or he's leaving, or some combination of those things. And it's like you're the Nikki because you.
Well, I was gonna say I'm the Brie in the way where I am like, yeah, I loved those Vans. I wore them to death, and I listened to ska music.
but I think you're.
But
like,
I think I'm also the Nikki because I'm like dating John Cena.
You're dating John Cena.
And we're going to the cigar room and we're like,
You're
it's
literally
cigar
getting a
room.
boob job.
Yeah, I'm getting the boob job, but I'm going to the cigar room.
Yeah.
And I would do the fast food licensing deal.
Love
I think
how
we'd all
weird
do the
it
fast
is.
food licensing
How-
deal.
I think we all would take it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
well, actually, I do have a problem. No, actually, no. That's not true. And I like do probably eat at McDonald's like more than anyone.
I also think I'm the Nicole because I think I'm getting the neck surgery because I was like the neck snapped in like a fight with Stephanie McMahon.
right, and you would actually like give it your all in this way.
Yeah, I think I would just
Like
go
when you
that much
when
crazier
you
in the
shot
ring.
that Duolingo commercial, you were the owl. You gave it your all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm down to get hurt in that way.
For sure.
Wow.
And I'd be
Figure it out.
well. I'm glad we sort of nailed that
Yeah.
to the wall.
We figured it out, yeah. I'm proud of us.
It's good to get
Yeah.
that out of the way.
Good to process that.
Well, you guys, thank
has
you
been-
so much. This has been such a journey, I think, in so many ways, and I'm obsessed with the symbioticness.
I know of things that happened and that we discovered and that we processed and
3
learned.
iconic duos just coming together. You know.
3 duos.
Yeah, the Bellas, the Who's,
The Who's and
The CBCs.
The CBCs.
Yeah,
That one needs work.
Yeah,
the
we'll
last
figure
duo
that
needs
out.
work.
well, we're in developmental, so
Yeah, we're still in developmental, and we're really hoping to get pushed to the main stage soon.
right. So we'll figure out our
yeah.
tag team.
But all of us pay for our own wardrobe.
Yes.
We all have that in
100%.
common.
We just have to. We
but
have
there
to.
is this. Well, cool. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. Listen to
having
Who
us.
Weekly.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, please. Yeah. Wait. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm being, like horrible etiquette. Please tell our audience where they can check you out online and in person.
Just go find Who Weekly. We're easy to find.
I don't want to tell people what podcast app to use because I know we all have very specific preferences.
Amazing. Well, congrats on all the success, and I hope it continues.
We hope one day to match you in Tampa.
It's not a success until you have a wine brand. So until that
I'm
happens.
working on it, okay? Don't act like I'm not working on it. I am.
Okay.
See you in Napa.
Yeah. First to the vineyard wins.
Well, yeah, we'll see who the wineries trust, I guess.
Bye. Best regards.
It's time for segments! How does she eat?
What does she wear?
How does she live?
Okay.
Enter to the ring, Steven.
Yeah, what does she eat?
What does she eat?
Well, obviously, Brie eats organic pasture-raised.
Organic pasture. Well, Brie is a vegetarian.
No, but she's eating like pasture-raised chicken in the episode I watched. Or did she become a vegetarian later in the book?
She becomes a vegetarian later, and she's like, Brian wanted me to be vegan, but that cheese plate, I cannot give up. Red wine and a cheese plate.
I mean, hell yes. Once a Hooters girl, always a Hooters girl.
Right. And basically, I mean, on Total Bellas, they're always, of course, just like at an empty trattoria, sushi, fusion, empty restaurant.
Yeah, Hyatt vibes.
Yeah.
Hyatt for life.
Big tables, wine.
Yeah, I think Nikki's a little bit more like cheeseburger and being a little bit naughtier and like Domino's and holding on to some of her like Phoenix vibes. I mean, the thing is also because it's like when you're at like one of your colleagues' Tampa condo or just like Bradenton condo, like Greater Tampa condo, like there's not a lot of options other than getting just like Carbellas delivered or like Domino's
so
delivered.
It's very just
or
also
like,
calories based because she was like during her neck surgery, she couldn't work out. So she's like, when you're used to 3,300 calories and you can't exercise, now I have to do 1,200 calories. So I'm just doing a shake for dinner because like I fulfilled my calories earlier in the day.
So she's doing calorie restrictive diet. I mean, the episode I watched, they were also at, I did watch more than one episode because like there seems like there was a lot happening in this episode, but it's like they were at a Hyatt like having the breakfast platter and they were all eating the most just like hotel eggs and like hotel sausages. And then Brie, I think, or like Nikki was just like, no, and actually I've heard that's like, it's like a lot is diet. And then like this other girl's just like, no, it's like 80% diet. It's like the diet is like huge. It's like a lot of it is like a lot of it is diet. But then they're just continuing to eat like the greasiest sausages.
Well, yeah, but it's also so big or classic. Like they were eating something that was so balsamic drizzle.
Yeah.
And she's like, Mama's gonna have to have her chocolate. Over at Nikki's quote unquote the fat one. So
the chunky Bella.
The chunky Bella.
she refers to herself.
But yeah, it's like they're at this trattoria and they're getting sushi, but then like it's also a place that has like a creme brulee chocolate balsamic truffle cup that they're all like dipping one spoon into.
Yeah, I mean, it's Sunbelt cuisine. Like, as you know, I've spent a lot of time in Albuquerque and Tampa. And just cuisine. Like every sushi place, it's like everything has tobiko. Everything is covered in mayonnaise. Like,
yeah, it's big and everything is called like Casa del San Rico.
Yeah. You know, it's not subtle.
No.
It's not delicate.
Not for sure.
What does she wear?
What does she wear? Yeah, they're like always matching in like a cropped, striped top with little shorts.
What is their casual style? Like, because I do feel like their thing. Okay, so I feel like they're also kind of like reality show. Like, you kind of wear these outfits. Like, you wear like really insane like stripper heels and then like flared like Dolce & Gabbana men's cut dress pants and like button downs to like look like you're fabulous because you're trying to be like I'm the glamorous. They're glamorous diva. So they're like kind of wearing outfits for the show. But I feel like maybe their casual style is actually
it is very
normal.
in the total. This whole like conflict in the Total Bellas is that Nikki and John like to dress up, and Brie is like, me and Daniel like literally show up to coffee time in matching heathered super straight people dog mom and dog dad t-shirts.
Yeah.
So they're more comfortable in like the heathered soft tee, and I think Nikki dresses up more, but so many times they were also just accidentally matching on the show, kind of in the way that sometimes like I'll show up to a party and like we're both in the same color Dickies and like randomly in the same colored shirt, and
that's spirit. Like, okay, spirit's beyond present. Okay.
How do they live? Okay, I think Brie like does have a random like cheaper like smaller condo.
Can we say it? 1, 2, 3.
Buddha.
I mean, obvious.
Yeah.
Well, she's got the signed guitar, but it's very Sheryl Crow to have the signed guitar and then the Buddha
next to a Buddha.
Yeah.
And then Nikki is a little more like fake Versailles Vegas.
It's fake Versailles Vegas, Southern, like huge ornate headboard, like goblets, lots of pillars. There's chalices everywhere, but it's also like so tiled and empty at the same time.
Right, and it's just like, which huge high chair do I sit in? And they both have French bulldogs.
I mean, I feel like her house reminds me of when I lived in New Mexico. in a development called Rio Rancho that was outside of Albuquerque with the campaign manager for Hector Balderas' Senate campaign. Yep. And the furniture in that house was the largest furniture I've ever. It was like
no one could see you.
The legs of the dining room table were as thick as John Cena. Like it was so the darkest leather.
Oh, the darkest wood, and then just like a white and yellow tile.
And maybe crosses?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're spiritual and they like did grow up Catholic. I feel like they're not so crossed.
I feel like she might have one cross though. That's like a clock or something, like a weird cross clock. She's like, oh, it is a cross, but it's just a nice clock that I found.
Well, I think that's also kind of like wearing like blood red.
Yeah,
as well. It's just like I have a cross and blood red. It's like pearl, Dave Navarro style,
right? More like badass Madonna goth character storyline stuff. Kayfabe.
Okay, so next week again. Hot off the press, we're doing Sir Hunter Biden's book.
Yeah, we're doing one of the most topical books in history. The son of the, U.S. president, heard of him?
President Joseph
Robinette Biden. And his fail son, Hunter Biden. Fail son is when you have like a bad son.
Oh, see, you learn something new every single goddamn day.
Some people do, yes. Others maybe already knew what fail son meant.
I didn't know what fail son with. I don't just wake up and grab a thesaurus and page through it.
I literally do, as you know, I'm a copywriter. Anyway, Hunter Biden, he's a dog, he's a slut, he's a drug addict, and we're really excited to just get
dirty, and we're going to be doing so many shots. Oh, but also like respecting
addiction.
Being
so respectful of addiction, and also of like political dynasties, but also like really thoughtfully critical of that sort of concept.
And like what it's like to be a son of a politician.
Right.
My song, Politician Son.
Right. And you've always wanted to be a politician.
Maybe I'll bring the diary and read it. Mr. Politician Sons
Maybe
for
you
next
could
week.
Record a great new version of that. Well, I've said too much now.
Okay, that's it. We're ending. Best. Celebrity Book Club is presented by Prologue Projects and HeadGum. The show is produced by the Devil Meg Burnane, with editorial support from the King Andrew Parsons and the Eliminator Leon Nathok. Engineering by Ferris Munchie. Original theme song by Steven Phillips-Horst. Artwork by Teddy Banks at Chips NY. Follow us on Twitter at CBC The Pod. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Leave us a review and don't forget to tell your friends about us or fear Smackdown.
That was a HeadGum podcast.